October 29th marked the 7th anniversary of Hurricane Sandy, the storm that cost New York City 2 days, 49 lives, and $19 billion. So if you're wondering how prepared we are for another storm like Sandy, the fact is, we're not.
New York City, one of the world's greatest cities, has a huge issue with being green, and that's where this building comes into play. The Lucida is an eco-friendly green building in the Upper East Side. It's helping shift New York City to become a greener city. Made from recycled, green, eco-friendly materials, this building is the Upper East Side's first LEED certified green building. But there's just one problem. It's so unattainable. The Lucida is a luxury green building located in the Upper East Side, offering a variety of different high-end amenities to satisfy any rich person's needs. This is all well and good, but how can the average person make a difference in their day-to-day lives? So we sat down with Ariel Ramirez, green roof expert, to get more information about green roof and keeping the costs down.
So just to get started, my name is Ariel Ramirez.
So can you tell me about what you studied and where you studied and how you got into this business?
Cool. Yeah. So I studied at the University of Delaware, and I took a plant science course and fell in love with it. So I started studying plant science at UD. And I started doing research and getting involved a lot with the Entrepreneurship Center on campus. And from there, I was able to bump into a bunch of engineers who were developing a product but knew nothing about plants. So I basically helped them add functionality to their prototype and what they were engineering. So being a plant science, I've always been trying to find ways to utilize plants into the urban environment and figure out how you can actually do that in a way that is sustainable and brings greenery back to our cities. And when I was able to meet my co-founders who had developed this smart irrigation device, I quickly started looking at green roofs and living walls and other green infrastructure as a system that needed this kind of technology, because these systems are really young in their development. So they have a lot of trial and error that they need to do, and a lot of the technology infrastructure that a lot of other businesses and different structures have already, green roofs and living walls don't have. And it's just simply because it's so new. So we really saw an opportunity there, and we wanted to make it easier to maintain these and also keep the plants alive on them. And that's really how we got involved and how we started applying our technology to green roofs and living walls and all the other green infrastructure out there. So there's a lot of pros. They're really outweighed by one of the biggest cons, which is the cost. So these systems, they add biodiversity to our cities. They help with things like urban heat island effect when the cities get really hot from all the concrete. They help with stormwater management and air pollution and a bunch of other things that they help with. But the difficult thing is that they just cost so much more. A green roof, for example, can be 2 to 3 times as expensive as a regular rooftop. So when you are a building owner or even a homeowner and you want to put in this thing that's really sustainable and has all these positive benefits for the world and just the environment in general, you can't really do so just because of the cost of it. And that's really been the biggest issue with a lot of these green innovations and green buildings, is that the innovation is here. It's just that it's way too expensive right now. So the next step really is, how can you drive down the cost for these things? In Denver, they passed a green roof mandate because a lot of the people in Denver got organized and they basically pushed for that. And they signed a petition and had the whole city sign a petition that basically mandated that their legislative body put in place a mandate for green rooftops. So I think part of the ways that you can really get, and the most impactful way that you can get green living costs down is basically through the use of technology. So let's take, for example, solar. So solar power was something that when it first came out, it was really hard to implement anywhere just because of the cost of it. And it's taken decades for solar to really become a predominant thing in the industry and for residents and homeowners. And that was mainly due to the fact that there was a lot of companies who worked really hard to put a bunch of innovation into it with technology that were able to bring the cost down.
Great. Anything else?
So I would just look into green roofs. NYC.com, and they have a lot of stuff on there about green roofs and some of the numbers associated with it. But more importantly, they have a bunch of stuff about New York, the breakdowns on what the actual local laws are that are, pushing for green roofs, what the number is, so like how much it costs and how much the government is actually giving you for doing it. So that might be a really helpful resource for you guys to look at.
Well, this gives us a lot of new information about how regular citizens of New York can do their part to help make the city greener. We have a long way to go before green roof technology is innovative enough to become mainstream, but the good news is we're not too far away. By speaking up and getting involved in local government, we can help speed this process along and make our way towards a greener future.